And my mother, too, she didn't like me too much, my mom. You know, she never breastfed me. She told me she liked me as a friend. Every once in a while, she warmed up to me and she breastfed me through a straw. There's a man with a good life. Thanks for helping me out tonight, sir, all right? Where are you from, sir?
Ossining, New York.
Ossining, New York, home of Sing Sing Prison along the historic Hudson, as all of us know. Well, I'm from right here in Yonkers, New York. I don't know if you guys knew that. Ashburton Avenue and North Broadway. You ever hear of that one? It's on the other side of town there, you know. Tough neighborhood now, are you kidding? Ooh, it's tough, but I never should have moved out of there, because where I live now is even worse, you know. Ooh, I live in a tough neighborhood, you kidding? I live in the only neighborhood that when you plan your yearly budget, you got to allow for hold-up money. It's a tough neighborhood, you kidding? Well, the first day I moved in, I went over to the cop. I said, how long does it take to walk to the subway? He said, sir, I don't know. So far, no one ever made it. Tough, you know? Well, my doctor keeps telling me walking is good for my health. He don't know my neighborhood. Around my block, you take a walk for your health, it ends up a run for your life, you know. Well, my neighborhood, I should have moved out the first day I moved in. My next door neighbor told me, keep your front door closed. Don't open your front door till daylight. Daylight came, the front door was gone. Well, nothing but robberies there, you know. Robberies all the time. I mean, every time I close a window, I had somebody's fingers, you know. I figured I'd fool them the other night. I left all the lights on in the apartment, I left the radio on full blast, you know. I even left a note on the front door. I said, I'm inside. I came home later that night, I still got robbed. The guy left his own note. He said, I looked all over for you. Some tough neighborhood, you know. I don't know. I got held up last week there. The guy had a knife. Well, I knew it wasn't a professional job, though. It had butter on it. I tell you, these businesses where I live, they're rough, too. The way they promote themselves, you can tell the way they advertise, you know. Well, there's a bank on my block. And this bank, if you open a savings account, they give you a free carving knife and they point out 2 victims. Tough place, you know. And there's a funeral home here. It's even worse. This funeral home, if you want to have somebody's funeral there, they supply the death. I mean, it's a tough funeral home, I'll tell you that. And they just laid some new sidewalk in front of my building last week. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to put my handprint in the wet cement. I figured I'd do it again. I tell you, it's a weird feeling to put your handprint in the cement, and then you feel another hand. Tough place, you know? Nah, nothing goes right, you kidding? And my psychiatrist told me and my wife we should enjoy sex every night. Now we'll never see each other. Well, I go for my wife. The trouble is she don't go for me, you know. My wife makes love to me. There's always a reason for it. Yeah, one night she used me to time an egg. My wife, I know she doesn't go for me, you know. Yeah, she cut me down to once a month. That's all right, 2 guys I know she cut out completely. Well, I went up to one of the guys. I said, who told you you could fool around with my wife? He said, everybody. My wife, you kidding? I know she treats on me, you know. I mean, every time I come home, the parrot says the same thing. Quick, out the window! My wife is wild, you kidding? Yeah, lately she's into S&M, salesmen and mechanics. My wife, she's on a new kick now. During sex, she likes to talk to me all the time, you know. Yeah, the other night she called me from a hotel. My wife, you kidding? She'll try anything once. Now she wants to have sex in the back seat of the car. And she wants me to drive. My wife, you kidding? My wife has sex, she screams, you know. Especially when I walk in on her. You kidding? Yesterday was a beauty. I asked the cab driver, where could I get some action? He took me to my house. Thank you very much. It's all right. It's all right. Thank you. There's a lot of things going on around my house. Well, the other night in front of my house, I saw a guy out jogging naked. I said to him, how come? He said, because you came home early. No, my house, I can never relax. You know, I got a kid home, he's getting worse. I got a real mean kid, you know. Well, he scotch tapes worms to the sidewalk and he watches the birds get hernias. I mean, he's a real mean kid, I'll tell you that. Well, he put crazy glue in my preparation H. What a wild kid. I tried to talk some sense into him, you know. I sat him down, I told him about the birds and the bees. He told me about my wife and the butcher. Well, I said to him, I said, you're young, you don't have it upstairs. He told me I was old, I don't have it downstairs. I don't know. I said to him, I said, someday you're going to have kids of your own. He said, so will you. And then I caught him sneaking out of the house the other night with a real good friend of mine to a father and son dinner. What a kid. And my daughter, she's no bargain either, you know, my daughter. I got a wild daughter. Are you kidding? Well, in high school, she was voted most likely to conceive. My daughter. Did I tell you she flunked her driver's test? Yeah, she couldn't get used to the front seat. Got a wild daughter, I'll tell you that. She's been picked up so many times, she's starting to grow handles. What a daughter. And the school yearbook, hers is the only one that's horizontal. Her picture, you know. In fact, the guys have a name for her. They call her Federal Express. I mean, whenever she goes over to a guy's apartment, she absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. You guys remember that old commercial? I'm sure you do. You know, it was around for a long time. You know what I mean? Oh, my daughter. You kidding? I was hoping my daughter could cook, because my wife can't cook. She's the worst cook in the world. You kidding? After dinner, I don't brush my teeth. I count them. I mean, in my house, we pray after we eat. You kidding me? I got the only dog. He begs for Alka-Seltzer. Yeah, she made my kid alphabet soup. He spelled out help. What a cook. Are you kidding me? Outside the kitchen, the flies chipped in to fix the screen door. I mean, I left some dental floss on the kitchen table. The roaches hung themselves.